Hello everybody and welcome to my account, Little House Plants. Today we will be doing something very fun and very exciting. We will be taking a tour of my houseplants. Recently we had some people over for dinner and two of my friends were like, okay, tell me about your plants. And immediately I was like, oh, I've been waiting for this my whole life. Let me tell you all about them. So now I'm gonna do that for you guys. Take you on a tour of all of my plants and show you guys where I keep them. So we'll go ahead and get started. This is my plant corner. This is where I keep all of my plants. Keep in mind during this, my husband and I live in a basement apartment. So our windows are pretty limited and our space is pretty limited. But I feel like I've been able to make it work. I've tried really hard to keep my plants happy and accommodate them the best that I can. We'll go ahead and get started with, I guess, this plant, the big one right here, I bet you're all curious about. This is my Antherium Vichy. It's my favorite, if I'm honest. I have it growing in moss, actually, in this little container. I think it's pretty root bound and it's time for a drink, but it's doing really well. It just threw out this giant new leaf, which I'm really excited about. I've had this for about 4 months now, and it put out this leaf and it's put out this leaf in my care. Alrighty, this next one, I guess it's just another Antherium. It's an Antherium crystallinum. You guys will find that I have many of these in my collection, many as in 3. More than one. This is one that I got recently from a local plant friend. I think she kept it in her IKEA cabinet, but I wanted to try and acclimate it to my room humidity level, so that's what we're doing right now. Just trying to get it used to being outside. Right here, this is kind of a sad story, but this is my Monstera Ti Constellation. When I got it, it had 2 leaves, and then it's put out this one with its cute fenestration. 1 leaf died, and then this leaf is also dying. This plant had root rot. So you'll notice it seems like there's a little bit of discoloration on this leaf as well. I think it's still trying to recuperate from the root rot, but luckily most of the roots weren't impacted, so I think it'll be okay. It'll just take some time to come back and bounce back. So I'm keeping a really close eye on this one because I don't want to kill it. Here I have a dying leaf, very exciting. A silver pothos. I know they have a fancier name than that, but just roll with me with that one. That's growing in leca. It's really not doing the best because I've kind of neglected it. When I first started leca, I thought, you know, leca is pretty easy. I can ignore the plants a little bit more, but I'm learning that's not the case. They seem to soak up the water a bit quicker. So they still need their almost weekly waterings. I just need to be better at taking care of it. Okay, then we'll go into here. I'm not going to pull out its cute decorative pot just because it might be a bit of a pain. This is my Monstera Peru. This one's a little bit sentimental to me, so it's really important that I keep it alive. My mom wanted this plant for a really long time. It was her #1 wish list plant for a really long time. And I finally found one on Facebook. I found 2 of them that weren't crazy expensive, and so I bought both of them, and I gave one to my mom for Mother's Day, and then I kept one as well. So we have matching plants. That's what I say. So when I first got this one, it had 2 leaves, and then it's put out 1, 2, 3, another one on the way, and then one of the leaves has died since it came to me, but it's doing really well. Okay, I have in these jars, these are some exotica cuttings that I'm just trying to root. I actually received these as a donation, so I don't really consider these my plants. They're intended to be sold for a fundraiser that I'm doing for a family member who is currently really sick. So they just sit here because they get good lighting, but I'll be selling them, so I don't consider them my plants, but I figured I'd show you guys because they're here. Okay, this is my Mykins that I recently gave a haircut to. Normally it's taped to the wall, but for some reason I can't get it to stick anymore. So it just kind of dangles, all sad. Because I don't know what to do, it won't stick. The tape won't stick to the wall. But it's got some pretty big leaves. You know, when you have a plant grow up a pole, their leaves grow bigger. So if I could get it to continue to do that, that'd be really nice. But I recently gave this guy a chop also to sell for that fundraiser. So it used to be longer, but then I made some cuttings. So now he's a small boy. He's not as big. I guess we'll just stick to the shelf. This is my Cebu Blue. I got it also from Facebook. A majority of my plants are from a Facebook group, so you'll find that's a common thing here. But I have it growing in this cup from Harry Potter, the Wizarding World of Harry Potter. We went in back in July. And I brought these cups home so I could put plants in them. And then I have it sitting in this cute decorative pot that I found at an antique store. And I just really loved the white and the gold. So I thought it would look really well on my shelf. And I think it does. Here I have some Antherium cuttings that I'm trying to propagate. I personally have never propagated an Antherium, so I wanted to try it with my common Antherium. They're not dead yet, so I think that's a good thing. But nothing's grown from them, nothing's like come of them quite yet. I have them in perlite with some water. But yeah, they look cute sitting on my shelf. They're not dead yet, so... this is another one that I just kind of separated it and chopped it. I think I may have chopped it too much. But again, I'm just experimenting. You'll find I do that with a lot of my cuttings and my plants. They're all just experiments. I'm like, well, just see how it goes. Down here in this basket, I guess I can pick it up. This is my common Antherium that I took those cuttings from, chopped it up. Again, nothing's happened to it since I did that. It's covered in dust. Needs a good wiping. But it's cute. I love this basket. I got it from a local nursery and it's really cute. I've never put like another plant in here because I think this one just matches it so perfectly. It just sits right there. I have a little Hoya Pubic calyx right here that truthfully I kind of neglect. Like, we'll do the taco test. You give it a little squish. That means it's thirsty. It needs some water. So it's about time I gave this guy a drink, but that's okay. We'll do that eventually. Okay, moving on to what's actually on my window. You'll see that this is a heater. We've got a little heater here, but we don't ever use it. So I use it as a plant shelf. This right here is my, oh my gosh, why am I blanking? I think it's the Crimson Queen? Princess? Princess. This is the Crimson Princess. Some of the leaves are kind of reverting or losing their variegation, but it's super pretty and lots of fun. I have it sitting here hoping it'll get more light and that will help the variegation. But we'll just see how it goes. We'll see. Everything's an experiment. It's all science. This is my red Emerald Philodendron. He's kind of wonky, but I like him that way. He's fun. He was putting out some really big leaves. Like, look how big this leaf is. Until I decided to chop him. And now he's putting out really small leaves, which happens. It's very common. But I'm kind of sad. I wish I wouldn't have chopped him. But yeah, he's fun. I have him in this cute pot that I just love. And again, I think it matches this plant perfectly. It's just kind of fun. I have my cactus in a basket. I don't know what kind of cactus this is. I bought a philodendron from a local nursery, and this guy was growing in that pot as well. And so I just separated him, put him in his own pot, actually sold that plant, and now he's growing all these cute little things. So he started out with just this little guy. He's grown this thing and these as well, which I like these two better. I think they're really cute. So he just sits here, enjoys a little bit of sun, if I can get his basket to stay. Okay, we're gonna keep going because there's more to see. This is my Philodendron Brazil. Shot out this long viney one. It's big and bushy and beautiful, and I wish I could say that I grew it this big and bushy and beautiful, but I didn't. I bought it this way. But I've kept it alive, which I think is a big deal, so kind of fun. Here I have a snake plant. He's kind of been through the ringer. This his leaf broke. I used to keep him at my office at work, where he just got like building lights, office light all day, and I decided that he needed some actual sunshine, so I brought him home. But he's cute. This one was one of my first house plants. My mom bought it for me as well, so he's also pretty sentimental. Luckily he's a snake plant, so they're easy to keep alive. I guess we'll go up here to this one. The pretty side is the side that faces the window. Can you see it okay? This is my neon philodendron that I just picked up from a local nursery. I have wanted one of these for a while. I had a neon pothos, but then I sold it, and then I decided I needed a neon philodendron. So I love the yellow leaves. These are good yellow leaves. They'll eventually turn green, but for now they're really pretty. So it's a fun plant. I really like it. It sits in this hanging basket up in my window, so it probably gets the best light out of everyone. So okay, let's move on. This is my string of bananas plant. Look how he grew. Why did he grow that way? He's just growing in water. His roots are not very happy, but I don't know, haven't had the time or the energy to pot it up, and he's growing, so I was like, yeah, we'll just leave him there and see what happens. So it looks kind of cute. I've never really wanted a string of bananas, and so to be honest, I don't really care for that plant. Like, if it dies, I'm not going to be really sad about it. I have another cutting I can put there in that vase, so I'm okay if it dies. I don't know if any of you guys feel that way about your plants. Like, you're like, if it dies, it dies. I don't care. But this one I don't feel that way about. This is my String of Hearts Silver Glory. Oh, and there's hair in there. Gross, 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 gross. This plant, it's different than your normal String of Hearts because it's blue or gray on one side and then a pretty purple color on the other side, which is really cool. So I have it growing in this cute little pot. It's much longer than this, but I've wrapped it around on the top to try and tame it a little bit. and it only made things messier. So yes, it sits on its pedestal as it should and in all its glory. But that was a lame joke. Okay.
I'm not meant to be seen or heard.
This one, I love the combo of the pot and the plant. This is my normal string of hearts. Oh, no, it's not. Sorry. This is my variegated string of hearts. So it's all pink and cute. To keep it really pink, I give it a lot of sun and keep it really happy. But yeah, I love it. And this little guy, I got him from Target. So they grow really well together. He just sits in there. So very fun, very cool. This is another one of my experiments. So this is a golden pothos cutting that I have growing in water. If you've been on my Instagram and seen my IGTV, that I painted this using the baking soda method to make it look more texturized. I mean, it worked. It looks very texturized. But yeah, so he's just growing in water in here. I fertilize it. I do change out the water so it's not really gross, but I really want it to just grow in water. I'm never going to put it in soil or moss or anything. And he looks cute, so he'll just sit right there. Here's another sentimental thing, but this is more of the sentimental pot. So this cute little pot, a friend from Argentina made it for me and sent me home with it. She sent me home with a cactus, but you can't take a cactus between countries. So I had to leave the cactus home, but I could bring this cute little Groot that she made me to the States, and I love it. I have a little succulent growing in here, but he is not living his best life, so we'll let him do his own thing. Okay, now onto the wall, the fun part. These are my nice floating shelves that my husband put up for me, which I'm really grateful that he did. When I was putting them up, I was putting them up upside down, so they looked like mustaches rather than U's. So yeah, I'm very grateful for him. This is my Philodendron Brazil. It's just a little cutting I have growing in leca. My husband won this for me. He did a little dance and we put the video on Facebook and they picked his. And so we won this little cutting. It's really fun. More silver pothos cuttings. This one I'm really proud of because I grew it just from the nodes. So it was a empty stem like this. And then I stuck it in moss and it grew these leaves. So pretty cool. Again, more cuttings. I have a really big plant, big silver pothos. I hope that's the right name. I don't know why I'm blanking on the name of this plant at this time. I bet there's a more scientific name, but we're going to call it a silver pothos. Okay? Okay. I have a really big plant and I have to cut it back and tame it every once in a while. So you'll find I have a lot of these cuttings just throughout our apartment. So, okay, on to the last plant. This is my Hoya Bella, who really needs a drink. I have her growing here in this really cool pot. But eventually she will graduate and need to sit over here. Right above her is a vent, and so when the heat is turned on in the winter time, if any air comes out and hits it, it'll really do some damage to this plant. So I'll need to move it eventually, but for now it sits here. Again, I'd love to say that I grew this plant to be this big, but I bought it this big. Yeah, and it looks really cool. This is another one I want to keep alive because it's just gorgeous. It's really quite fun. Okay, and that's all for my little plant corner. Those are all the plants that I have in here. I wish I had a total number of plants to tell you guys how many plants I have, but I don't. Maybe we should keep track throughout the video. Every one I hold up, you put a tally in the corner or something. Or I'll put a tally in the corner. We'll see. Okay, but then we'll move on to the plants that we have in another room. Hello everybody, and welcome to the plant room. We have escalated from the corner to an entire room. This is where I keep the majority of my houseplants, actually, and where I spend a lot of my time, you know, filming reels, doing repots with me on Instagram, fun things like that. And it's a great space for me to just be in here and take care of my plants. I think my husband likes it too because it keeps the mess contained to one spot rather than, you know, spread throughout the whole apartment. So I'll go ahead and get started. This is my Monstera Adensoni. This is one of my first plants that I ever bought, and I love it. It's very cool. And then just below that is my peace lily. He's sad right now. He just needed some water. But this one's pretty sentimental to me. It was on my grandma's casket when she passed away. And unfortunately, I was in another country at the time, so I wasn't able to be at her funeral. So it's nice to kind of have that in my house and to take care of it as a little momentum, you know? And then next to that, this is my lemon lime Maranta. It is big and beautiful and losing a couple leaves, but I think it'll be okay because we're also growing some new leaves as well. Again, I bought it this big. I gave up on buying small plants that'll grow into big plants. I just bought big plants. Across from here, this is my Hartley Philodendron. This is one of my favorite plants just because it's so big and bushy and has these cool long vines growing from it. So I absolutely love it. Such a cool plant. And so easy to take care of. You want an easy plant, get that one. You'll love it. Another one that's outside, this one right here, it's a newer plant. This is my Philodendron Pastizanum. I just bought it a little while ago. I think it's still adapting to my space. But I really love it. It's beautiful. I love philodendrons. Philodendrons are really cool. On top of here, this is that mother plant I was telling you about, the silver pothos. It goes all the way down to the bottom of my cabinet. Am I saying that funny? I did give it a haircut recently and it's a little tangled, but there it goes. See, it normally goes to the floor. It sits up here, gets some good lighting, and it's growing in lots of places, so we love that. Over here by the window, this is my normal, this is the actual one, the normal string of hearts. It's this big tangly mess that just kind of sits there. It also needs some water, but I think it looks really cute in that macrame hanger. And then next to that is the rubber tree. This was one of my first houseplants as well. It's not doing its best, but that's okay. Here's some Hartley Philodendron cuttings I have growing in leca. And then over here I have a Maranta cutting. And this is when I learned about spent nodes. This is a spent node. So all of the roots in here belong to this guy, but he doesn't have a growth point, so he'll never grow into a full plant. He's just cute. This is my Monstera Adensoni wide form. So the leaves are wide instead of narrow, and it's really cool. I love it. It did have mealybugs for a while, so some of the leaves are kind of sad, but it's okay. Then over here, this is my Raven ZZ. My mom gave it to me. It was hers for a while, and then she gave it to me. So it sits in this cute little basket and gets some good lighting right here. I'm waiting for it to grow. It hasn't grown for me yet, but that's okay. This will be my office. I will be doing office things here. So this will be my desk. So naturally I have my little plant here. It'll be cool to be surrounded by my houseplants. So shifting back over here, this is my Monstera Adensoniae. This is my, this is my Monstera Deliciosa. I know, sorry. I'm mixing them all together. But this is my second one. So I have one that's a bit bigger that's upstairs, that is living up there for the time being. This guy has scale, so he is separate from everyone and will stay separate from everyone probably forever. He gets his own space because he has bugs. Okay, now we'll move over to this fun little shelf that we have here. This is my Exotica, Scindapsus exotica. This is my Philodendron Gloriosum. This plant has been through the ringer. It's a propagation, so it shot out a small leaf, and then we have another one on its way that I think will actually be pretty big. I'm pretty excited for that one. I have my one orchid that is not dead yet. I don't know why it's still alive, but it is. We'll take it, right? Take it as a win. Some more cuttings. My Hoya Compacta. Really cool. It started out with just these two growths right here, and it shot out this one and then these two right here. So it's grown quite a bit. It really loves being in leca. This is a Syngonium that I stole from my mom. I took a cutting without her knowing. I mean, she kind of knew I wanted a cutting, but she didn't know when I was going to take the cutting, and she was not very happy with me. So I learned my lesson. Don't take cuttings without permission. Don't do it. All is well now, though, don't worry. I've given her lots of plants to make up for that, for this one cutting. This is my little string of turtles. I won this plant in a giveaway, and it's really cute. It's just fun, just sits there. Here is my spot of a Hoya Pubic calyx. So if you remembered, I had one out in the corner, and now I have like 3 of them here. My whole goal is to take a big pot and put all of these into one big pot and have it just be massive. But I haven't gotten around to that yet, so it'll happen eventually. These are my leca experiments. You can tell some of them aren't doing so well. I have a tetrasperma over here, a Satin Pothos, a reverted Syngonium, and a neon pothos, but they're just experiments. I don't have anything fancy to say about them. So yeah, this is my plant room. Now I'll show you guys what's inside of my cabinet and also inside my terrarium from Botanicas. This is my IKEA greenhouse. I've had it, I don't know, I want to say like maybe 3 or 4 months now, maybe longer. But as you can tell, I have a lot of plants in here, so much so that I don't give the attention to all the plants that they need because there's a lot in here. But we'll go ahead and start with the top shelf. So these are all of my Hoyas. I'm not going to name them all because 1, I don't always remember their names, and 2, there's a lot of them. Like this guy, I don't remember what he is, but he's doing fine. And then here I have a Hoya Curtsii, a Hoya Crimson Queen. This one is one of my favorites. It's a Hoya Morelii, and when it's sun stressed, it turns this pretty red color, so it's pretty cool. It's kind of gives it a really jungly vibe, and there are all my Hoyas. This guy that I just moved and now won't stand up is my Philodendron Varicosum. I think he needs to be repotted because a lot of his leaves just look a little sickly, even the newer ones. So I think I just need to repot him. He might be a little root bound. Here dead center is my queen. If you guys follow my Instagram, you know I'm obsessed with this plant. It's absolutely one of my favorites. it has given me these 2 leaves in its time being with me, and I love it. It's a beautiful plant. This is a newer Antherium, and quite truthfully, I don't remember its name because it starts with an F, but it's really complicated, so I don't remember it. But it has this new growth coming in, which is really fun, so it's happy in here. Here's some Hoya cuttings that aren't very happy. I don't remember their name, but they're not happy, so we'll just kind of ignore them. This is my Antherium Vichy, not Vichy, Palladiforum. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking.
This is my plant.
This is my plant. This is my plant. This is an Antherium. It's a Palladiforum, I think is what it is. I'll have to look and check. It seems to be doing okay. I'm noticing some yellow though as we stand here and talk on the older leaves. But it's growing a new leaf, which is really fun. In my care, it's grown these 2 really long ones that go down to the next shelf. So, but I kind of like that it cuts into the next shelf. I think it looks cool. So yeah, so this is shelf number 1. Now we're gonna go to shelf number 2. This shelf is really crowded, but I like it that way, so it's fine. Here I have a little Antherium Forgetii seedling that's really fun. It looks like it has a new leaf coming in. I didn't know about that. How fun. But yeah, he's really cute. Clear in the back, if you can see it, that's my El Chaco Red, who just keeps growing these big leaves that I don't know what to do with. But he's gonna just sit there. He'll probably go down to the bottom shelf where there's more space anytime soon. But this is my Antherium Radicans and Luxurians hybrid. I bought it from the Florida jungle and I've loved it. It's been so fun to have. It needed a repot, so the leaves aren't very happy right now, but it's okay. This is my Philodendron Biliatii, also from the Florida jungle, and it's gorgeous. I absolutely love it, and it's grown so many leaves in my care. I think 1, 2, 3, oh, and one more, but I don't remember. I'm pretty sure it's just these 3 have grown in my care, and we have another one on the way. So it's just living its best life in this cabinet. Before I put that back though, I'll show you, this is my little silver sword. He kind of grew scawampus until I put him in the cabinet. Now he's doing a lot better, so put him in there. This is my silver Hoya. I don't remember the exact name, but it's really pretty. I have 2 of these, and then I bought one and gave it to my mom too. But it's a really pretty plant, lots of fun. You'll find I'm really bad with Hoya names. This is another Hoya that I have that wasn't doing really well, so I stuck it in a new thing of moss. But yeah, I think it'll be happier now that it's here. I have some cuttings that I'm rooting in here as well, and then I'll get this guy out because he's fun. This is my Anthurium crystallinum it was my first rare houseplant that I bought, and it had root rot, and then I kind of saved it from the root rot. So it's my one success story. Now it has roots that grow out its pot, so it's very happy. And it has 2 new leaves on its way. So it's one of my favorite plants. It's so cool. It sits back in the corner. Okay, moving on. I'm trying to be quick. Down here, we have a dead plant that we'll take out. You don't need to see the dead plant. This is an El Paraíso Verde, but it looks kind of funny. But not like a normal one would. I just think it needs to mature, that's all. Here I have my Hoya Linearis, who needs a drink of water. I have it growing in here because I know they like humidity. Here is my third and final crystallinum. This guy was sold to me kind of as a rehab plant. The lady was just like, I just don't want it anymore. Someone take it. And I was like, I will. Give it to me. And then I have all my cuttings that I'm rooting for my fundraiser, for my family member. So these ones are intended to be sold. They're not really mine. This is my Hoya Obavada that didn't do anything for me until I put it in leca. But yeah, I think it's a cool plant. It's very fun. This one here is a very pretty plant. He just grew kind of scawampus. Sorry, I'm struggling to hold him too. Yeah, we'll do that. This is my Philodendron Mamiya. I don't know. I chopped him after this leaf came in and sold some cuttings. And then it grew a leaf upside down. Do you see that? Can you see how it's upside down? What in the world, man? Like, what am I supposed to do with that? I just need a moss pole. That's all it needs. But it grew really crazy. It's a beautiful plant. It needs a better moss pole. That's all. Okay, so that is all for my IKEA greenhouse cabinet. And then we will dive into the Botanica's terrarium. Alrighty. Maybe I should turn the light off so that the light doesn't blind the camera. Okay. So if you guys follow my Instagram, you know that this is my plant hospital. A lot of my plants that need some rehabbing go in here. Mainly this guy. My very sweet husband bought me this plant for our anniversary. It's a Philodendron Mcdowell, but it came with some really bad root rot, and I haven't been able to get it to bounce back yet. But its new leaf is coming out, and we've got this nice little aerial root coming in. So I think I'll be able to at least have some kind of plant in the end. But it was this huge, huge plant when it came, and now it's this. So we're just being really patient with it. Hopefully it works out. We'll see. This is my white, is it a white prince or a white princess? I don't remember. Philodendron cutting. Not philodendron. Is it a philodendron? Yeah, it is. White princess. It's the white princess philodendron.
Don't think too hard about it. You can correct it with text.
It's the white princess philodendron. I bought it from a local plant seller. It's just a cutting. You'll find most of these are cuttings that I have rooting in moss. And then here is my Florida Ghost cutting as well that I have rooting in moss. It's just taking its sweet time, which is fine. I can be patient. I have this Melanochrysum that just put out this super cute new leaf. It's adorable. It's nice and red. Eventually it'll turn green like this guy, but it's pretty cool. They're very fun. Here I have my two Monstera Standalianas. This one is the Aria, so it'll have yellow variegation. And then this one is the normal albo, so it'll have white variegation. And I'm pretty excited. They'll be really cool. It's fun to have both of them together. These bins, I just have some miscellaneous cuttings, some more science experiments in. I don't really pay a lot of attention to them. And these are my two Antherium seedlings. I don't remember what they are, quite honestly. But this one's doing really well. Has a new leaf coming out. This one's dying, so it has a dead leaf on it. It's not doing as well. but that's okay. They're cute, they're fun. They'll sit in here. And then here I have my last plant I'll show you guys for the day is my Burrow Marks Fantasy Cutting. It has 3 nodes, so it's rooting here, here, and here. I haven't seen any growth from it yet, but hopefully I will. But in all honesty, I just think that this leaf is really pretty. And so I think it looks good just as it is. So, okay, and that is my terrarium. There you go. That is my plant tour. I do have a really tall fiddle leaf fig that we will show you guys with just a clip. It's upstairs getting the sunlight that it needs, because here in the basement it does not get the sunlight that it needs. So that's upstairs getting some good sun right now. And so we'll insert a clip of that and my other Monstera so you can see them. They're beautiful, I love them. My philodendron, or my fiddle leaf fig, was one of my first plants that I bought and that I bought for this space, and it's just been lots of fun to take care of it. But that's all for today. Thank you guys so much for joining us on this tour. Follow my Instagram, lil.house.plants, where I post lots of fun houseplant content, you know. Take care of my plants. I go live a lot. And yeah, so thanks for coming. Bye.